Hi, I'm Brad Houston, City Records Officer. Today we're going to talk briefly about preparing your records to be sent down to the City Record Center. This is pretty much a straightforward process, but there are a few things you can do to make life easier for both you and the staff in City Records who have to process these. First thing you should do, if you are, or think you will be, transferring records to us is make sure you have the appropriate transfer list. This spreadsheet-based one makes it much easier for us to input files into our records management system. The URL is right there. As you can see, it's long and messy. So if you want to, you can also go to https://milwaukee.gov/records, and there will be a link on the right side to transfer forms and procedures. However you get there, you're going to want to download the form and save it to your hard drive, which will come especially in handy if you'll be sending multiple transfers over time. When you're getting ready to send down new records, you should save a copy of this blank sheet with the date the transfer is happening so that you can refer back to the boxes it contains later. Got your transfer list? Great. Your next step is to fill your boxes. You should be sending down records to us in official Record Center cartons, which help us standardize space usage. If you don't have any of these, call us at 3393 and let us know how many you need. You can approximate the number of boxes using this conversion chart. But you should remember that it is just that, an approximation. So you usually will want to request more than you think you need. If you have extras, save them for the next transfer. With regards to how you're filling boxes, please fill so the boxes are snug, but not tight. You should have about a finger's width of room so you can remove files easily as needed. Please use plain or tabbed file folders rather than the hanging folders, or just piling paper in. And please place the folders standing up as if the box were a file cabinet drawer, rather than stacked in a pile. We do ask that you include only one record series per box, if possible. This helps us make sure all records in the box are retained and disposed of consistently. If you cannot fill a whole box with a single series, consider whether you really need to send that series down to City Records at this time, or if you can wait until you have a full box. If we do receive a box with multiple series, we will maintain it for the length of the longest retention period contained within. Last, if you have CDs or other physical non-paper storage media, please separate those out and place them into their own boxes. This is to keep our destruction costs down when those materials meet their retention date. Please contact me directly for assistance. Now that you've filled your boxes, your next step is to describe what's in them. This helps us determine where to look within a box for a particular file you're requesting, as well as to allow us to identify the amount of time to retain and how long to destroy or archive the files. Moving left to right on this image. First, leave the gray box here alone. This is where we're going to input the barcode numbers that we use to track and locate boxes in our records management system. We can provide these numbers on request, but you don't really need them. What you will fill out instead is box number, which is intended to give you a reference for which box contains which folder. You're going to want to use one line in the spreadsheet per box. Additional lines are on the Additional Boxes tab in the workbook, if you have more than 15 boxes to send. The record series is one of the two most important fields for CRC, because it allows us to assign retention and disposition to the boxes. If you aren't sure which record series you have in a particular box, ask your records coordinator for a schedule number. Or, if they don't have it, give City Records a call and we can probably provide one for you. The end date in particular is the one which we use to calculate retention, so it's particularly important that you include that in your transfer list. Please make sure you're using the correct trigger date when you enter these. In other words, even if the records are originally from 2015, if the trigger date is close of file, and that didn't occur until 2017, you'll want to indicate 2017 as the end date here. The description should be a short summary of what's in a box. If the description is more than 40 characters, it will be truncated in our system. So be aware of that when you're adding information here. You can also put file ranges if you have a run of files in a logical order. We can enter those so that if we're searching for a file within those ranges, that box or that folder will come up in a search. Now, step 4 here, which involves describing your records at a deeper level than box level, is split into two parts because there are two different ways to do it. The way you see here is if you don't care as much about having individual folders directly accessible, but you do need to indicate the contents of a box as needed. You can enter these in the Long Descriptions tab in the workbook. Make sure that your descriptions are labeled with the same box number that you indicated on the main sheet, so that we can ensure the descriptions are matched with their appropriate boxes. Boxes whose contents are described in this manner will have folders come up in keyword searches, but not on searches for individual folders. The other way you can indicate folders is by including them individually on the box list. The way we usually recommend doing this is as you see here. The first line in every box, which contains the box number, has a summary of each box in the description. Then, folders within that box are added without box numbers, indicating that they belong to the box above. When you start a new box, put another box number in the box number field for the next row. If you know that you will be requesting individual folders, if, for example, you have a lot of folders in a box that are arranged idiosyncratically, this is probably your best option. Whichever method you take to add folders, your next step is to enter the administrative info to make sure that we get the boxes into the right department in our system. This is pretty straightforward too, but I do want to call out 3 fields in particular. For department number, we're using a variant of department budget numbers from our old RMS. In most, although not all, cases, your department number is the budget number minus the trailing 0. For example, City Clerk, which has the budget number 1310, sends down boxes as department number 131. If you aren't sure what your budget number is, check the tab on the worksheet labeled Department Numbers. The date prepared should be the date that you are ready to send records down to City Records. You can put it in any date format that you like, but the one I'm showing here, full year-month-day, is the easiest for us to process, because it will auto-populate the transfer reference number field. We'll refer to this number when retrieving documents for you, which is especially useful when you have multiple runs of the same number in your transfers. Under the contact information, you should put the information of the person who is responsible for these records, or otherwise creates or maintains the series. This may not be you, especially if you are the records coordinator for your department. In a nutshell, the person you put here should be the person who can most easily answer questions about the records for retention, legal holds, or similar questions. Once the entire sheet is filled out, send it via email to either City Record Center, one word, at milwaukee.gov or recmgr@milwaukee.gov. Either way will get the process rolling. We'll enter your boxes into our system for tracking, create a work order for pickup, and one of our document technicians will give you a call when your boxes are ready. We can collect boxes that originate within the City Hall complex. For outlying offices, we will typically need you to arrange your own way of getting boxes here to drop them off. As I wrap up here, I will call your attention to the image, which is of the old transfer list in use before 2021. These were typically sent in paper form, and in many cases were handwritten. In neither case can we use them to input data except by hand, and as such, we will no longer be accepting them for transfers as a matter of course. If you submit a paper sheet, expect to have it returned with a note to fill out the electronic one. Good thing you watched this presentation. Thanks for tuning in. As always, please feel free to contact me directly with questions. Until next time, this is City Records Officer Brad Houston, reminding you to keep calm and manage records.